So there's been new evidence come out concerning Ashlee Jenae's case. And the evidence have shown that Joe McCannon owns half of the shares for the resort that they stayed in. So if he owns half of the shares of the resort that they stayed in, it's very safe to say that he was never taken out of that resort. And that was all a lie. In fact, it's been said that he stayed in the resort the whole time, and that is where he beat Ashlee to death. Ashlee's body was found wrapped in a white sheet, and thus that goes along with the images that we've seen of her body being put on the stretcher from the hotel, and she was already wrapped in a white sheet. She was already dead when the ambulance came. And of course they're going to all lie, because Joe has paid off the ambulance. He owns the ambulance. He owns and paid off part of the hospital. So it's all a big conspiracy. And so everybody is lying and trying to cover up for Joe. And Joe has now been given back his passport. And we hear that he may be even back in the States. So the audacity of him, it's just the audacity of him to do something like this and to feel like he can get away with it. Now, Tanzania has not released any of the results of the autopsy from Tanzania. And so Ashlee's family has decided to do their own autopsy here in the States. And there's been a lot of questioning as to whether her organs are still intact, because her organs can be sold for a high price on the black market. This whole story of them being separated was a complete lie. The whole story of the groundskeeper finding her outside walking around, that was a lie. That just never happened. The whole story of her being alive and then dying at the hospital was a lie. She was already murdered inside of the hotel room. So all of these lies, and now Joe has been given back his passport, and he's possibly back in the States. It just goes to show just how brazen some people feel like they can be, because he has paid off the ambulance and the hospital, and he owns half the shares of the hotel. He feels like this is an open and shut case that he can just walk away from. But the public isn't letting it go. And so now the resort is losing money. They're losing tourism because nobody feels safe going over there. And they're in danger of shutting down, is what I hear, is that the resort may be in danger of closing down because of all of the bad publicity. And they're trying to wait this thing out until everything blows over. See, they wanted this to be swept under the rug, and they wanted to just treat Ashlee like she was of no value to them, and this big important white guy, he was supposed to just get away with whatever he wanted to get away with. But this has less to do with him being his race. This has to do with money talks. And so he allowed his money to talk over there for him. But it's not going to talk in the highest courts of God. It's not going to talk there. God don't care how much money you have. He don't care about your status here on this earth. When he owns everything and he's created everything, he sees and knows everything. So Joe may think that he has gotten away with something, and he's walking high and proud on his high horse after what he has done. But this is a dangerous person now, and anyone who sees him is going to see him as a dangerous person. He may think that everybody that's in his camp is for him and is for him getting away with this. No, they're just being quiet because they've been paid to keep quiet. But there's been people talking. Who's on Ashlee's camp and who is on her side. There's been people talking because they want this thing to be blown up. They want him to be held accountable. They want this stuff to stop happening. They don't want any more of their people of the Africans being killed over there by Caucasian men. Joe's not the only one who's gone over there and done that. And it's not just about Caucasian people. It's just about people with money who go over there and feel like they can have their way with these women and then do away with them and take their belongings and even take their money back. And this person never received the money that they promised to pay them, and their life is now gone. And it also turns out that Joe lied and said that they were already married. So the whole engagement was a hoax. The whole thing was a hoax. He lied and said that they were already married. And so he was able to now get the ring back and get Ashlee's belongings and not have to return anything. And so nobody can prove whether the ring was real or not. But we already know that he never loved her. Yeah, we already know that this whole thing is more and more sounding like a ritual. This is sounding like a ritual that he had planned out from the start. And that's why after he had done away with her, he was immediately on his computer looking up his stocks and looking up how things were doing, because he expected, and if the ritual worked, he's supposed to be just rolling in the dough right now. He's supposed to be just having all of this money rain down on him right now. But instead, it's backfiring. The resort is losing money because they're losing tourism, and I don't know what companies Joe is invested in at this moment, but I'm sure they're losing money too. I'm sure it's all backfiring because maybe they didn't get taken to court and served the sentencing that they should have been served here on this earth. But God is still making sure that they're being sentenced. The world is still making sure that they're being sentenced. Joe has actually put a great target on his own self right now because of what he has done. I don't care how proud and what circles he want to roll in and walk in. He's walking in the same kind of circles that Epstein has walked in. He's walking in the same kind of circles. And now anybody's name who's attached to Joe, it's going to be like anybody's name who's seen in the Epstein files. They're not going to want to be associated with him. So I don't think his business is going to be that well any further. And this is just my saying. But I don't think people want to be associated with his name anymore. He's not this big, powerful being that he tried to think he was to get away with doing some horrible thing to this sweet girl. He's not going to get away with it. It's already starting to crumble. And whatever he thought he was big and bad enough to do is now coming to bite him. It's now coming to tear his own kingdom down and to destroy his own name. So, yeah, Joe, he is got a target on him right now. He lied about everything. He owns half the shares of the resort that they stayed in. He's paid off the ambulance. He paid off the hospital. He lied and said that he was already married to her to get the ring back and any other belongings of her that they can't trace anything back to him. He's made sure that Tanzania has not released any of the autopsy results concerning Ashlee. Those autopsies are being kept under wraps. He's made sure that he's paid off the workers on the resort, and so everybody is living in this fear around him at this point. But at the same time, Joe don't know that his world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because as more people in the world hears about this, as the story continues to live on, in the minds of people, it's causing his world to get smaller and smaller. And just like nobody wants to be listed, they don't want their name showing up on the Epstein files. No one is gonna want to be associated with Joe anymore. So that's all I have to say on this case. He's being put in public jail. You know, he may not have gone to an actual jail, but public jail is almost worse. So he didn't get away with nothing.